The Spirit Lands by Grieve. Prologue. It was like everything moved in slow motion. We flipped once, twice, 3 times. My head was jerked from side to side, the seatbelt tugged at my shoulder. Despite the alcohol and pills running through me, I had never felt more sober. Smack. My head hit the side window loudly and I almost blacked out. My temple was suddenly hot and wet. Then we scraped to a stop in the mud. Through the cracked windscreen I could see the beginnings of rain. I was hanging upside down by my seatbelt. It was so dark, so cold. Finally I looked to my right, where Harry once was, but he was gone, a large hole in the windscreen where he'd once been. I peered out into the dark and, sure enough, off to the side of the car was a human-sized lump. My heart jumped to my mouth, my eyes brimming with tears. I ripped the seatbelt from side to side as I tried to get myself loose. The buckle wouldn't budge. It felt like an age as I squirmed. Then, finally, I was free. I dropped like a lead weight to the top of the car, wincing as the entire left side of my face shot with pain. I kicked my leg out to the windscreen, breaking it more and forcing a hole big enough to pull myself out. "Harry?" No reply. Not even birds. Or wind. Just silence, a deafening silence that swallowed me whole. I pulled myself out into the mud, struggling to stand as I tried to find my footing. One car headlight beamed out dully into the trees, the other obliterated in the crash. The only source of light besides the moon shining through the gaps in the overlapping branches above us. Even still, I could see them in the shadows. They approached to the tree line, watching. I had never seen so many in one place before, never so calm. Their eyes glowed and their faces said absolutely nothing. They just seemed to wait. I had to get to my brother. I slipped and slid through the muck. It felt like years before I finally got there, dropping to my knees beside his limp body. I flipped him around, cradled his head in my arms. His face was coated in blood and mud, and his hair was dark and sopping wet. "Harry?" My voice cracked, the lump in my throat getting higher. No. He was gone. No, he couldn't be. Then I could feel it, sense its approach. The shadows were no longer just shadows. I grabbed Harry by his shoulders, pulled him to the light, hoping to delay the inevitable, but of course it didn't work. The shadows reached out for us, for him, like long persistent tentacles, a mix of solid gas and liquid. I stood in front of him, protecting. My brother would not be taken, not now, not today. The tentacle tried to avoid me, skirt past me, but I reached out and touched it, held on. Not today, not him. The shadow seemed to hesitate, but only for a moment. Then I was pulled off my feet as it tore itself from my grasp. It reached out to Harry, and, as it touched his skin, I began to see the shift. No! I grabbed it again, pulled, and it let go. I held on, feeling the cold tears drip down my cheeks. No! My vision blurred red. Leave him! It suddenly vanished, and I fell back, dizzy, disorientated. I tried to get up, but my legs shook, weak. Exhaustion set in, but I had to get to Harry. I crawled through the mud, tears racing down my cheeks. It could come back. I had to protect, had to... My hand reached out, touched his warm wrist. Warm, not cold anymore. Then the edges of my vision blurred as the world went black.